Hey, hey, Taurus, Mel, intuitive coach here, excited to bring in your December 2025 monthly reading. All right, let's open up your energy field and take a look at what the month ahead has in store for you. Now, Taurus, I'm getting a naughty energy. Are you on the naughty list? It doesn't feel like it's malicious or ill intent. It feels more childlike, kind of like you've been sneaking your hand in the cookie jar, taking a couple extra. It feels like there's this playful rebellion energy that's coming through this month where you may be wanting to step outside of a comfort zone or break away from responsibility for a little while. And that may feel a bit foreign for you if you are used to doing things in a certain way. You have this card that wanted to come out, so I allowed it to stay. You have the Tower that is telling me things are shifting, things are changing. So again, being on the naughty list, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. What it means is you're not people pleasing. You are not going to pretend. You are not going to live a lie. It feels like anything that is based in illusion is being shattered in order for you to step fully into your heart's desire. Step fully into the life that you are meant to live. So the fact that the Tower just came out and sat there for a bit, it feels like there's been a bit of a tug of war going on. But I see that the breaking free is not a bad thing. That rebellion, that naughty energy, it may feel that way. Maybe that's a subconscious belief that you have is you can't do something because it's going to disappoint others, or you have to look or behave or act in a certain way. That could stem from a childhood wound, the root chakra era. You have the Fool showing up here with the Sun. So you are no longer going to let these external distractions or subconscious patterns get in the way of your happiness. That's the message I'm getting. So even if that puts you on the naughty list, it really is going to be for your highest good. So allow yourself to break out of any sort of mold or trap that society says, just like the naughty and nice list, right? There shouldn't be that separation in a sense. So you have some really empowering messages coming through. Another thing I'm getting is this year for you, this December, perhaps this holiday season, it feels like it's different from the last, meaning you may have moved over 2025. You could be in a new home or a new location that you have never been in before. Some of you may even have a new family member that has joined the mix. Perhaps you are no longer in a relationship, or you may be in a higher level commitment. And for some of you, there may even be someone that's no longer in your world. So it feels like there are some changes that are coming through this year, but it feels like you've been learning a lot around 2025's energy, because some of you have gone through a lot of highs and lows. I see that with the Tower. The Tower is here to remind you how far you've come. I don't feel like there's a storm approaching. It feels like this is what's been kind of shaking up your world for, I'm getting the last like seven months, or the seventh month. July could be a big month here, or maybe 7 months ago, something has really shifted or something had happened. But I see that this was actually the catalyst for change to be initiated, because something I've been saying often is our nervous system is hardwired for comfort. Our nervous system is conditioned to believe in certain things and to behave and to, act in certain ways based on our earlier years. But our soul is hardwired for growth. So oftentimes when those two butt up against each other and we stay in our comfort zone due to fear, due to conditioning, due to patterns, due to what we feel we deserve, when that soul growth comes in and says, all right, it's time to fly, right? It's time for a new journey. journey, we can feel very uncomfortable being pushed out of that comfort zone, even if that comfort zone is not very healthy, if it's not something that, we want to be in necessarily, but we may be too scared to make the changes. That's when the tower comes in and kind of pushes us, gives us that little nudge. Sometimes it's not so little. It can be big. It can be a health crisis. It can be the loss of a loved one. It can be a job ending. It can be something that happens abruptly. So some of you may have gone through some sort of crisis. And sometimes this can even be like a lot of little fires, if you will, like a lot of little fires that eventually turn into a wildfire, and it comes in and you can no longer ignore. That's what I'm getting here for you. Is the end of the year is really about a second chance here, where you are closing out a chapter of your life that has been, for some of you, very chaotic, very competitive, or there's been a lot of external validating here, or even other people involved. And it feels like you are stepping into a fresh chapter of your life where you get to try again, Taurus. You get to start over here. You may be rebuilding your life after the tower, but this is a clean or a fresh start. And I feel like there's been a lot of forgiveness that either you or another has been working on. But I also see that there's a better offer, or, a better opportunity coming through than perhaps the one that you were currently residing in. So this is a month where you are reviewing, you're taking a look at maybe some of the soul contracts that you have had, some of the soul lessons, but there certainly could be a physical contract that you're looking at this month as well. It could be for your career. Some of you are looking at your insurance plans, your health plans. You may be looking at your budget. I also see here real estate. So again, some of you may be thinking about like relocating or investing, maybe selling or buying property. So it feels like contractual agreements coming through. There may have even been some changes with a custody agreement for those of you that may have some sort of custody battle, or if there's been like a court case here. I don't see the scales of justice out here, but I do see them in my mind's eye. So there may be some shifts perhaps in accountability, or again, some sort of karma. It feels like there's a rebalancing taking place here. So there's definitely a second chance coming in after something may have crumbled or something really did get your attention. And when it comes to health, some of you may have got to a bit of a breaking point where surgery was required or needed, or, health got out of hand, and maybe you are now on a weight loss journey, or you are wanting to focus on, just feeling healthier, feeling better, body, mind, and soul come 2026. So this really is a winding down of 2025, but initiating here some of the things that you've learned and integrating them into the upcoming year. So second chances, contractual agreements. There could even be travel here. I see the map and the compass in the background and the globe. So you may be traveling to visit family. There could even be a new place that you are experiencing, as I've mentioned, but it feels good. It feels like you have a clean chapter, and you are about to start here with that Fool showing up at the bottom. You're about to start here on a clean slate. So we have heart's desire. I love this energy coming through because this is like the Lovers. And sometimes that Lovers can be choices, right? Making a choice here to listen and lead from that heart center instead of manifesting from a place of fear, from a place of maybe negative conditioning that has held you back, that has limited you in some way. So this is a love for what you do. And that can be part of what you are rising up to meet, right? Your destiny here, your heart's desire. So it could be a project, a passion project that you are working on, or some sort of creative endeavor. There may be choices around a relationship, maybe a relationship with a family member or a best friend or even a lover. And I see that you are also focusing on your heart health. If you've had heart chakra issues, such as maybe depression or anxiety, cholesterol, if there's been heart palpitations, or if this, has to do with maybe like heart valves or stents or breast cancer or breathing, right? This is about the breath of life and how we open up to love and how we may at times push love away. So the heart chakra is activated, and this center is something you are paying close attention to. Now, I'm also getting a message here of perhaps a loved one. This isn't, it doesn't feel like it's a prediction. Because again, the tower feels like the storm has already crossed, but some of you may have had a loved one that has suffered with something around the heart, maybe some sort of emphysema, or maybe there was like a heart attack that someone had. And I just feel like you were a part of that energy in some way, or you've learned a lot, or there could be a loved one that you're connected with that had issues around that heart. That's coming up here for you. And I just see that you're wanting to live a life that feels more full and rich with that heart energy instead of fear energy, right? Instead of living and leading where you're constantly in this crutch of crisis or in this tower, it's like you want to build a life that doesn't always feel like it's crumbling or doesn't always feel like you're living on eggshells or walking on eggshells, right? Or feeling like the other shoe is going to drop. Like you want to live a life where you feel like your nervous system is able to rest. You're able to allow and honor your path to unfold in the way that it's meant to. And that's what I see happening for you. You have teamwork coming through. You're not alone. Many of you are opening that heart up to working with people or allowing them to work with you. This could be a new community. It could be a new tribe. It could be new family members. And if you have entered into a new contract, you may not have yet physically, but some of you, this is the month where a soul contract is being created here. So come 2026, there may be that new person that does enter your world, or a new family member if you are pregnant, or if there's maybe a grandchild in the mix here. But I also see teamwork having to do with your career, with your work, because some of you, you are meeting up with new people. There may even be an interview process, and we're going to clarify each area of your life. But teamwork makes the dream work. So spending time with those that you love, sharing your care and sharing your time and your energy and your heart with people that inspire you, people who you want to be around, people who uplift you instead of feeling like you are drained, instead of feeling like you're not sure if someone's going to fly off the handle or what's going to happen next in your company. There may have even been a merger or family reuniting in some way. So this is a beautiful energy here, Taurus, of energies coming together, as it says, and helping hands. So I definitely see here that there is support, there's resources, there's an energy here of pushing through some of those deep-seated fears and really being able to connect perhaps on a deeper level than you have felt in quite some time, because that's what's truly going to help you feel alive. And it wouldn't surprise me if you are doing some sort of, and I think I mentioned like nonprofit volunteer work or help for others, but it could also be that you're receiving this in return if you are in need. And we have body talk at the bottom of the deck. Body talk tells me that your body and your mind may have been going in two different directions. A little bit of that cognitive dissonance here, where your body is trying to get your attention, but yet the mind kind of shoves it down and says, well, I'll take care of that next month, or it's not that big of an issue. It's only a little ache, right? Until it starts to amount to something bigger, until it really starts to knock and get your attention. We tend to kind of shove it to the wayside. I feel like you are more conscious of what your body is trying to tell you. This is about self-love. If your body is saying it's time to slow down, it's time to rest, it's time to listen, but you're not listening, that's when that tower moment is going to come in saying, hey, we tried to tell you. Now we're going to have to bring in this not a forceful energy, but maybe that tower to kind of shake things up. And maybe that's what's happened in the past here for you. So I feel like you are more aware of your energy field. You're more aware of the people that you are surrounding yourself with. This is your thought process, your patterns, mental health. It is also chakra healing. So many of you may be learning more about the chakra systems, more about health and wellness or nutrition. Maybe you are an energy worker or studying Reiki or any other energy healing modality. Maybe even taking a look at alternative ways to work with the body, because you can see all of these beautiful women from all walks of life coming together, and they are showing up fully themselves. So there may be a message here around vulnerability or around being seen, because sometimes that can trigger fears of ridicule or criticism or judgment, or really feeling shame around body or around, our own self. And I see that that's something you've heavily been working on with strength coming through. Yeah, you have strength and healing below body. So this is recovery, closure. You've gone through maybe some grief here as well, but you have support coming through. Now, you also have the Five of Wands, and this can be that competitive energy. So it feels like competing for one's attention. Maybe this is connected to your root chakra era between the ages of 0 and 7, where you've had to compete for mom or dad's love, or you were a sibling and it's felt like you had to constantly fight for someone's approval or attention. And that has played out in your adult life. And instead of thinking of it as an adult problem, oftentimes it's something that stems from our inner child. As you see, two children flying the kites there. And above, those two kites are entangled, right? They look angry. They're right at each other. So instead of getting tangled up in a bit of a war between, that battle of the inner child, maybe even with other people, this is the year where you get to do something differently. You get to try something differently, like step away from this or respond or react in a different way, or maybe draw a line in the sand. This could be a year where you're speaking up for yourself or advocating for yourself instead of feeling like you've been shoved down in some way. It feels like your voice has been shoved down or you have been made small in some way. And the Five of Wands can also be adversity. Perhaps you have grown up in some sort of adversity here, or you're even in a situation currently where you feel like you are being judged, or there's some sort of bias going on here, maybe due to ageism or sexism, or, whatever it may be here. I just feel like you want to fight for what you believe in, but you don't want there to be drama at every turn. And that's what I was picking up on here with the Tower. So moving into the Eight of Pentacles, this is mastery. It is labors of love. If you're going to put work into something, make sure it's something that counts, something that's meaningful. Make sure you are prioritizing love above all. She is creating this beautiful mural, and that takes a lot of time, right? To create and paint this mural. And it takes her time, her love, her dedication. So something that you are applying your energy and effort into, it feels like it's a lot, right? It's coming from a place of love, but you may be kind of stepping back now and just taking a look at how everything is played out for you. It's like you're able to see the finished product of something you have created in some way. And that's actually allowing you to see it from a different perspective, because when she's up close and personal, working on maybe an area of her life where we're talking symbolically now, she's literally up close on that mural. But what I mean by this is if you're focused on a specific area, sometimes we need to take that step back in order to see the big picture, because we can be too close to something where we're not able to fully see how it is coming together. And I see that that's where the Hanged Man comes in for you, because it's time where you're looking at things from a new angle. It's like you're waking up to some sort of truth. You're able to take that necessary step back and say, wait a second, yes, this is something that I want to continue putting my energy and effort into. I want to learn more about this. I want to grow. I want to dedicate myself, or perhaps I want to be experimental experimental and I want to try something I've never done before. So whatever it is that you are pivoting at this time or gaining mastery towards, or whatever skills that you are wanting to maybe level up in, or if you want to learn more about yourself, taking a look at these different aspects from different angles are really going to help you kind of surrender and let go of those preconceived notions that were built in the first place from that Five of Wands. So you are getting a different angle. There's a different approach. And I feel you're slicing through, in a way, the shadow, the dark, just like the bat here. The bats are nocturnal, and he's hanging upside down, where that is helpful for him. That's how he's able to rest. That's how he's able to grow, to heal, to evolve. And it feels like there's a part of you that is not only on this brink of an awakening, but you are letting go of maybe an old version of yourself or an old part of your story. Not letting it go by pushing it under the rug and saying it never happened, but acceptance, like surrendering to it. Like there's been a sacrifice here that you've maybe had to make that has gotten in the way here of your heart's desire, but it feels like that's what's shifting, because you have the sun. You have the sun. This is joy, right? This is great times ahead. This is getting out in the sunshine. It's playing. It's enjoying yourself. The sun is a beautiful energy of vitality and confidence. It's basically what makes you happy. That's what you are moving towards. And there's been a lot of fear around that energy due to either a sacrifice or due to some sort of competition or due to it feeling like there was this constant need to, again, walk on eggshells. I don't love that energy here, but it feels like that's part of the Tower. And when the Nine of Swords shows up, the 9 is a completion, right? You don't have to go to worst case scenario. You don't have to let that monkey mind go out of control, spiral. And some of you, this is due to sleep. Your sleep has been impacted so much that it has contributed to every area of your life, for those of you that have struggled with sleep, okay? What you have coming through here, especially as we're shifting out of the old and into the new, not only do you have this new beginning coming up, right? This soul self that is being reawakened to the potential of possibility, right? This is about travel. It's curiosity. Some of you, you're working with a startup company. You could be the startup company or an entrepreneur. This is like the student here. You are learning about yourself. You have so many takeaways from the prior year, even if it was one of the most challenging years that you've gone through, or there's been a lot of Tower moments. It feels like there have been so many takeaways where you now know what you want and what you don't want. And you're moving right into the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups is gratitude. Grateful for what you have, grateful for your health, or grateful for the people around you, grateful for the experiences that may have even broke you wide open, because you are no longer the same Taurus that you were 5 months ago, right? Even 5 weeks ago. We're always changing, shifting, evolving, and growing. And sometimes it takes people a little bit longer, right? You may have been dealing with maybe a family member or an opposing energy here, but it's okay if you're not on the same wavelength as them, because everybody has their own story, their own way of perceiving life, that Hangman energy. And I see that you are removing distractions, or at least pushing through them enough to show up shaking if you need to. Say, here I am. I'm vulnerable. I'm scared. I'm uncertain, but I'm showing up and I'm trusting that there is another chapter waiting for me. And that's exactly the energy that you need and that you are embodying, moving into and through December into 2026. So 10 of Cups is the ultimate blessing. It is bringing in joy, work that brings you joy, relationships, family dynamics. It doesn't have to be blood family. It can be chosen family, energies that inspire you, that uplift you. That's what you are moving into here. So we have For health, I just want to take a quick peek at energetic health. So of course, please seek a professional if need be. The Hanged Man can be issues with like medication. So perhaps some of you, now we can definitely over medicate. You know, we live in a society where pills are thrown at every single thing, but we don't often realize that even the supplements such as like our vitamins and things like that, even the things that are labeled better or healthier or alternative, sometimes that can be a fixation as well. Sometimes we can even over medicate on some of those things. So just being mindful. Sometimes this can be the nervous system, right? The Hanged Man connected to the nervous system, the vagus nerve, also connected to gut issues here. This has to do with the head. Oftentimes you'll see, just like on the bat, there's a rainbow around the crown chakra. So this can be like delusions, nervous breakdowns, feeling insanity at times, or like doing the same thing over and over. It can be like MPD or multiple personality disorders, antisocial behavior, schizophrenia, or any sort of memory issues, memory problems. And some of you may be leaning into hypnosis or working with a psychologist, or perhaps you are a psychologist here. But another thing that's really coming up strong with the Hanged Man and the Nine of Swords is sleep disorders. Okay, sleep disorders. And you may be trying out something new regarding sleep if that has been an issue for you. And we have here the sun. So the sun is a powerful energy of being revitalized by the sun. And we often take that for granted. We have that vitamin D, and some of you, there may be a vitamin D deficiency, especially if you live in a region like I do. I live in Wisconsin, and it is cold in December, and I don't love to bundle up and get outside as often as I do in the summer. Some of you may even have a bit of like seasonal depression disorder, or again, taking a look at your levels, like your blood levels or vitamin levels. That may be something worth looking into. And if you are visiting an area that has a lot of sun, maybe you're traveling, just be mindful of like sunburn, like being out in the sun too much, because I love to soak up that sun when I go places, but that sun can really take a toll. So just make sure you are doing your due diligence. Now, this can also, excuse me, connect to that heart energy that I was talking about earlier, heart health, like heart disease, depression. It can even be connected with like anxiety regarding connecting with groups or being around family. You may have anxiety. So I know those are more of the flip side, more of the challenging parts of health that can manifest into something deeper. So of course, if that is an issue for you, seek out help. You have it here. Teamwork. There are so many different ways to connect. Now you can do it online. There's Zoom. There's therapists out there, trusted loved ones, hotlines. So whatever you need to do to take a look at whatever your body is alerting you or telling you of, don't wait. Okay. Don't wait for something to get worse before you look at it. Okay. There could even be some sort of surgery that some of you are having or you have had. And I see that there's going to be a good result from a surgery here. Now let's look at love. What do we have for love here? This can be romantic love, family. It can be friendships. It can be self-love. You're healing your beautiful heart, Taurus. Many of you have gone through a toxic or addictive dynamic. Sometimes that Hanged Man can even be addictions, can be drugs of all kinds. It can be also like social media, addicted to social media or addicted to food. It can be addicted to even some of those healthier things like exercise can be, we can go to extremes, right? So we often forget that when something becomes a fixation or we feel like we cannot focus without it, that's where you are kind of re-examining. But this is about healing heartbreak or any sort of abuse that you have endured either early on in life or in your past relationship dynamics. It feels like you've learned a lot from it. Next, you have the coffee cup here. So for many of you that are wanting to open up to connections here, you could be being reunited with maybe even a sibling who you haven't seen forever, or it could be a family member, maybe a parent or a child who's gone off and started living their own life. There's an energy of reconnecting with family through the coffee cup here, meeting and talking, savoring the moment, because these moments may not be as plentiful as you would like, but you are certainly going to savor it while it's here. You're feeling elevated, and many of you are building some strong connections and friendships here. And you could even be having some sort of, I'm getting like a team. It could be through work, like a work party or a holiday party, or it could even be a gathering of friends coming together, celebrating here, maybe having dinner, having drinks, exchanging gifts. It feels like you are connecting with people who you actually want to be in the presence of. And we have paradise. So this is another beautiful energy of travel. Some of you are traveling here, or you're just feeling elevated. You're feeling like, wow, that sun is shining through after a very stressful, heavy period. It feels like you may even have everybody under one roof, or, it feels like your nervous system is relaxing. That's what I'm getting here with happiness and joy. Whether your nervous system is relaxing because you are doing some breath work, some yoga, some meditation, some energy healing, or perhaps you're in an environment where you're able to relax, or you are around people who feel safe, who feel comforting. So this is happiness and joy. It is playfulness. It is enjoying each other's company, and it could even be a honeymoon for some of you that are wanting to reignite the flame between you and a lover. This could be a great time to spend some time soaking this up with another individual. All right. So when we look at career, finances, and money, you have Einstein here reminding you that for one, you're brilliant. And for two, your ideas matter. Some of you are getting experimental, just like Einstein did many times. I feel with that Eight of Pentacles, you're being guided here to not make something harder than it has to be, because sometimes the solution is simple, but we overcomplicate the heck out of things, don't we? It's time to clean house personally and professionally, to start with a clean palette. Hello, second chance. Right? Are some of you maybe builders or in real estate, like clean house? Maybe you clean houses for a living, or it could be that you help people get organized. Maybe you help organize their company, like their website or their budgeting. It feels like you may be someone who takes care of everybody else's stuff, but maybe you're looking at kind of simplifying your life this month. Stick to basic needs when it comes to spending. Put some money aside. I see that you're not overdoing it. Sometimes the holiday season, people tend to rack up, credit card debt, or they tend to overspend. I feel like you are spending mindfully this month, meaning you've either set some money aside, or you're not overdoing it, or you have enough to be able to maybe treat yourself or treat your family. So it feels like you're being mindful of spending. And if that has been a struggle for you, maybe bringing someone on board that can bring in a level of accountability here to help you out if you need that. Next, you have science. Keep an open mind. Something is unfolding here for you. Now, the Five of Wands can be competition, or just feeling competitive at work, or feeling like everybody is playing a role that's not necessarily working together. Some people are not even playing the roles that they should be playing, right? And maybe it stacks up on your desk, or it just feels like you're learning about something, you're digging in a little bit further. There may even be research or like data analysis here, maybe some science-based energy coming through, forensics, biochemist. This is applying a scientific approach to your business or financial problems. Taking a closer look at your budgeting or your finances could be helpful. Maybe even a financial institution. It could be that There's that contract, as I mentioned earlier, some sort of contractual agreement. Read the fine print. Okay, don't just sign on the dotted lines and trust other individuals. Not with that Five of Wands here, because it could be that there's like conflicting interest. So make sure that everybody is on the same page. Make sure you are doing your research and reading things through or looking at documentation before you just agree. Okay. And we have the underworld. Now, the underworld looks a little bit taboo. We have the money. We have, I probably should cover that. Otherwise, I'll get docked. But this is finding unconventional ways to explore new sources of income. So it is generating maybe a different way of making money, probing into the mysteries of life. I mean, this could even be making money online, even YouTube 10 years ago. I don't even think tarot readers existed, did they? Right? It wasn't something I was familiar with up until like 4 years ago. And this can be trying new things, even being an Uber driver, or if you're wanting to make a little bit of cash, looking at maybe some more unconventional ways of making it could help you out. Because as the world evolves, so can your means of making money. And I see that there's been a lot of stress here, perhaps around your career or around your finances. But I see that there is some form of abundance, some sort of maybe even reward or blessing here with that 10 of Cups that is opening up. And it feels like it comes just in time. Like some of you may feel like you're pushed up against a deadline, or there may be a bill to pay, or, it feels like I'm running out of time. That's kind of the energy I'm picking up on here for a moment. It's like I'm running out of time, but in the nick of time, maybe the 25th, right? St. Nick Day, right? It feels like there is this, something comes in out of the blue even. The Tower can be something out of the blue when you feel like it's all about to crumble. Because this Tower, again, it doesn't feel like this is showing up in the now per se. It feels like you're still picking up pieces, or you're still working with this energy, but it doesn't feel like everything is crumbling down. It actually feels like there's a rebuild, as we have the Fool at the bottom. All right. You have here a message from your higher self. Soothe. Inspiration and creativity unfold when you are rejuvenated and rested. Immerse yourself in things that soothe your soul. Yeah, we talked about that with the sun. Take a bath, a walk, or buy yourself flowers. Honor your mind, body, and spirit. You see the water here, so make sure you're staying hydrated and soothing your nervous system, because this can be a heavy month, a lot going on, end of the year. It can be deadlines. It can be family gatherings. There can be a lot of anxiety. There can be depression, if people are no longer in our world. There's just a lot of heaviness. And so find ways to soothe. Find people that support you or activities that support you this month. And lastly, here we have the empty room. So I am going to find this message in the guidebook. One moment. All right, Taurus, we have again the empty room, which is the vortex. It can be the abyss. Wasn't that like a 1970s movie, like The Abyss, going underwater and there's like alien type creatures? I think I recall that. But this is reminding you that the empty room haunts us all. It is the universal and all too frequent feeling of lack, of wanting, of the craving to fill ourselves with something, anything. We too often attempt to remedy the discomfort of the empty room by any means necessary, leading us to a culture of more. Now, this can show up especially around the holiday season and gift giving, things like that. So try not to get too caught up in that. Of course, it doesn't mean don't give out gifts if you want to do that, but remembering here the real meaning, the 10 of Cups is the energy here. We too often attempt to remedy the discomfort of the empty room by any means necessary. Ironically, the empty room is filled to the brim with potential, yet we perceive it as not enough. This card is a cry for patience, for sitting within the barren walls of not knowing, for awaiting true vision and purpose before attaching to what we should do next, to save our outward appearance. Be with the nothingness. Be with the impatience. The empty room has immense power. Let others wonder what you are doing. If you can settle in the magic of emptiness, you will soon hear its whispers of wisdom. This is reminding me of that hanged man energy. Oftentimes, I like to think of the hanged man as like being in a straitjacket. So maybe the empty room is being, feeling like you're in that mental hospital at times. Like, how am I going to get out of here? I'm losing my mind, right? So this can be spaciousness. It can be potential. It can be possibility. And when it's in the dark, it's addiction, insatiability, right? More for more's sake. The archetype of the empty room is also portrayed as the hungry ghost, always feeding and never satiated. A day of silence is a surefire way to harness the power of the empty room. Maybe this is a day of disconnecting from social media. Right? Maybe it's a day off of work or more if you're able to. This could be a day of volunteering, a day of giving back, whatever you are able to do that can help you embody the 10 of Cups. That is what's going to help you get out of that mental muckery of replaying out scenes over and over in the mind, or that depressive energy, or the fears that we tend to spiral. I see that you are opening or paving the path for a brighter future. The sun is here with the 10 of Cups, which is powerful, but it is about leaning into that heart's desire, leaning into that heart space here, not letting yourself get caught in the cracks of whatever earthquake has come in and kind of shifted your world. You don't have to get sucked into those cracks. You have the ability here to climb up. You have the ability to live and lead a second chance here. And I see that you are also healing, on a cellular level, on an energetic level. Many of you, this goes back even further before you were born, right? This is ancestral. This has to do with your mother's healing, your mother's healing, right? So I also am getting here hypnosis. Maybe some of you are doing like some hypnosis, maybe some EMDR. I am getting with this healing. It feels like there are some deeper energies that may have really been showing up this year, where you're starting to see things in a way that you weren't able to see prior. And once you have this sense of awareness of what's going on, you understand yourself a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And that's what I'm getting here for you, Taurus, is you are waking up to your soul self. That's what the Fool is. The Fool is not quite a number, right? It's not the number one. It is the 0, which is infinity. There's an infinite timeline of possibilities here that you are tapping into. Which timeline are you wanting to step into in 2026? That is what I have for you, Taurus. If you enjoyed today's reading, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share, like, subscribe, and hit that bell if you haven't already. And if you are interested in a personal reading or signing up for the monthly newsletter, you can find all of that information in the description box below and by visiting intuitivesoulcoach.com. And I'm hearing Shaggy. Isn't Shaggy from like Scooby-Doo? So maybe someone has like a dog that looks like Scooby, or maybe someone's name is Shaggy. So again, take that as it resonates. Thank you so much for tuning in today, Taurus. Lots of love.